Hello and welcome to episode 75 of the She Must Knit podcast. My name is Erin and thank you so much for spending some of your time with me today. I hope you guys had a great week. Now, I feel like I should be calling this episode 74.5 because I really feel like it's going to be a super short episode. I actually considered maybe skipping this week, but I've told you before, I really enjoy doing this every week. I really enjoy chatting with you guys. So I thought I'd share what I got done this week, even though it's not very much. As I've mentioned before, a couple of weeks ago I got a rather large wholesale order. That is what I've been working on. This week I've really had to kind of crunch down because I got the final piece that I needed to complete each of the pieces, and that's basically all I've been working on. I've been able to knit a little bit in the morning just to kind of, wake up and get the day going, and I've been able to knit a little bit at night before going to bed, but basically my days are just filled with completing this order. Now, thankfully, my family is helping me out. Thank you so much, Mom. She and my brother are working on getting the packaging part ready while I do the main part. But yeah, I've been working on that this week, and then otherwise, this week was the first week of school, so Avery went back to school. She is in grade 3 now, and it was a really good week. She's got the same teacher that she had last year, who I really like, and she really likes, so I'm very pleased with that. And remember, she liked those socks that I made her at the end of the year last year, so I have a feeling I'm going to be making at least one pair of socks for Christmas as a gift. And then also, to kind of throw my week off in even more of a tizzy, if you remember, I mentioned that week, there was one week where just all kind of good stuff kind of happened to our family. One of those things was that Dennis, my husband, got a new job, and he is currently in the transition period from his old job to his new job. So he's moving to a new job. It's a position he's been wanting for a really long time. This is a really good move for him. And he's been home all week. He's actually upstairs right now trying to finish up some of his last minute work. And yeah, he's just kind of thrown my whole week off, just having someone in the house with me when I'm trying to do what I need to do. So that's been my week in a nutshell. I hope you guys had a really good week. If you have kids who went back to school this week, I'd love to know how your first week went. But for now, we are going to get into the knitting. So I pretty much only worked on 2 projects this week. There was a couple of days between when I finished my August Desert Vista Dyeworks socks, and I couldn't cast on my September ones yet, so I kind of had to find a project to work on because I didn't really have anything on the go. So I decided to pick up my Coziest Memory Blanket. I don't think I've shown this for a while. I feel like it's been a while since I've worked on it, but if you're new, I'm working on one of these Coziest Memory Blankets. If you remember, there was a couple years ago where this was like the thing that everybody was working on. I'm a little behind on all the knitting trends, but I started this one I think about 2 years ago, and I've just been plugging away on it. So what I've been doing is after each year, wherever I finish off, I kind of border off. I'm trying to find a section. So if you see here, this black border here. So whenever I finish the squares for a given year, I will border that in black and then move on to the next year and then border that in black. And then I also have been adding some little tags. So you can see this is from 2017. So at the end of 2017, that's the area that I bordered off, and then I add a little tag. The idea behind this blanket is that I am making it for Avery, and I'm just plugging away on it, putting all my leftover fingering weight yarns into it, and by the time she is ready to leave the house, I'm hoping that I will have a nice, good size blanket to give her to take with her on her way so that she can remember Mummy and all of her knitting. So back to what I worked on this week. I had it right in front of me, and then I had to go and mess it up and move the blanket around. So this, I think, is where I left off the last time, and this was the yarns that I used to make those sample socks for my booth. So I have added, I think, 5 squares. I've added 5 squares. So this one here was my Desert Vista Dyeworks socks from, I think, May, and then next was this one here, which is my Desert Vista Dyeworks socks from June. And then after that, I think I had another pair after this. It was those Perfect socks that I made for Dennis. But I didn't really have any left of the striping part of those socks. All I had left was some of the brown contrast, and I just didn't feel like putting in this big dark black or dark brown square, so I skipped that one. These were my Desert Vista Dyeworks socks from, I guess, July. And then up here, this is a bit of yarn. So if you remember in July, my birthday month, I did, if you were following me on Instagram, you would have seen it. And also, I think I did show them on the podcast. But I did a special Friends themed set with some bags and some yarn, and this was one of the accents that I created for my sock set. So I had a little bit of this left, so I decided to throw a little square using that yarn in. And then finally, this is the last square I completed this week, and this is my August Desert Vista Dyeworks socks. So I have one more square to put in to totally catch up to the projects that I've made so far. I showed you Dennis's third pair of socks last week, the blue-green marl ones from Patons. So I still have to put that square in, but then I will be completely caught up. So if you are interested in how I do my little squares, I use 3mm needles, and these are actually just double-pointed needles. So I purchased some Haya double-pointed needles in their the steel ones. They're really nice and slick. They have a nice point that is pointy but not too pointy. And then I have the little clover point protectors, and I put those on the ends. So what I end up with are two nice little short straight needles that are the perfect size for these squares. People who make this blanket will do their squares using different stitch counts. I use 54 total, so 27 on each side of the marker. You do put a marker in the middle where you decrease around the edges to kind of make it do that mitered shape. But so 54 is what I pick up when I'm starting a square, 27 on each side of the marker. And it's a really nice quick little project. I'm finding it's a really nice way to use up little bits of yarn, and I think I have mentioned before that I kind of have two scrap blankets going. So I first put my extras into this blanket because it does require a certain amount of yarn, and then anything left over I put over into a basket and I put into my granny stripe blanket, because since that is crochet, I can just use whatever amount of yarn is left. It's just a little bit. I can do kind of a half row. If it's more, I can do a full row and then keep some for later. So between those two projects, that's how I've been using up my sock weight scraps. So that's what I worked on most of the week, and then then September 1st came, so I was able to cast on my Desert Vista Dyeworks sock for September, but I didn't end up doing that. I actually didn't end up casting them on until last night. I just had too much going on. I've been very tired this week, and so I just didn't get them cast on right away, but I cast them on last night, and I actually only have a teeny tiny bit to show you, and hopefully the camera won't start shaking. We've just been joined by a Mr. T. He always seems to figure out when I'm doing this, and he comes to join me. He's lying down. We're all good. So yeah, this is what I have so far for my September Desert Vista Dyeworks socks. This is the yarn that I'm using here. This is the colorway, I think, a Color Accents Teal. So she has a whole series of these that are a mix of like black, different shades of gray, and then one pop of color. So the pop of color in this one is a teal. And I just have the ittiest bittiest cast on. I've done my 3 rows of straight knitting, and then I think I've joined in the round and I've knit maybe 3 rows in the round. So that is all I have. You can see the teal shade there. It's a really pretty color. Hopefully I will have more of this done for next week. This week I was actually thinking, should I be worried about finishing my Desert Vista Dyeworks socks this month? Am I going to be able to do it? The workload for the wholesale order that I have is proving to be much greater than I thought, or things are just taking longer than I thought they would. Originally, when I calculated my daily quota for the items, I didn't include weekends just so that I kind of had a buffer. And now I think I'm going to have to work into the weekends to make sure that I stay on track. So I don't know, I really don't want to have to drop out of the Desert Vista Dyeworks challenge for this month because of this, but yeah, I'm still going to really try it. This might be the only project that I end up working on, so if this month isn't very interesting in terms of knitting, I am sorry, but it's just, that's the way it's going for this month. So the only other thing I wanted to mention is I don't really have a pattern in mind yet for these socks. I'm starting off with my normal 25 rows of ribbing, and then I'm probably going to go into stockinette. I don't think I have time to do a pattern this month, but I was actually considering doing a German short row heel instead of the usual triangular shaped heel that I've been doing the last couple of months. The weather was quite cool this week, and I found that I was pulling out a few of my hand knit socks from earlier in the year. And there was one I was wearing the other day that had a German short row heel. And for some reason, when I do those top down, they fit me much, much better than when I do them toe up. So I'm considering doing a German short row heel for these socks just to do something a little different, and it is a little faster for me. But we will see. We will see when I get down to that part. So the only other thing I want to talk about in terms of Desert Vista Dyeworks, if you follow her on Instagram, you may have seen that she is currently celebrating her 8th anniversary. And she is doing a little event in her shop where I think it's just one time a year she puts up all the colorways that she offers. If you're familiar with her yarn, it kind of works in months. So certain colorways are available for certain months, and then after that month they kind of go into hibernation, and the next month new colorways are available. So if you have your eye on a color, you kind of have to wait for that month to come up before you can order it. So with this kind of anniversary celebration that she's doing, all her colorways are on her website right now until the 11th. So I am definitely going to be taking a look at the website, just seeing if there's any colors that I've written down that I've kind of had my eye on that might not be available again until, like, you know, way into next year, if I want to, so I can see if I want to order them now. But it's something to just keep in mind. Maybe go check it out if you've had your eye on trying Desert Vista Dyeworks, but you're not sure how her colorways work and how to get the ones that you want. Everything is on her website right now. So the only thing I have left, I have two little housekeeping tidbits to throw in, and one of these I should have done at the beginning. It just sometimes slips my mind. I apologize, but I have the monthly winner for August to announce. So if you are a new viewer, I keep track of entries. All the comments made on any of my videos in a given month count as an entry, and then also any item purchased on my website counts as an entry. So I keep track of those entries, and then at the end of the month or the beginning of the next month, I announce a winner. It's just my way of saying thank you so much for participating and for engaging with my channel and just making this such a positive experience. So I pulled the winner for August, and it is Donna Welch. Donna, you comment quite frequently on my videos. Thank you so much. So you are the winner this month. If you want to contact me either through Instagram or Ravelry, whatever way is easiest for you, you can also go onto my website. There's a little contact button down near the bottom that will send me an email directly to my inbox. Let me know that you've seen this, and I will set you up with a $20 coupon that you can use in the shop. The only other thing I wanted to ask you guys, so in the Bling Your String group, we just finished the Breezy Arms cowl. So I announced the winner on there. Everybody, you guys made such beautiful projects, tons of inspiration if you're looking for some garments all the way from baby to adult. There was lots and lots of entries, but I'm kind of in like this space where I don't really have a cowl going on right now, and then usually I start my my yearly kind of gift along cowl. I start in October, and for that one it's just prepping for the holidays, Any kind of gifts that you hand make are included. It doesn't have to be just knitting, crocheting, fiber related gifts. It can be soaps, it can be cards, it can be anything that you are making as gifts for the holiday season. But I was thinking maybe we could just start that a little bit earlier, give us a little bit more time to get those gifts going. I haven't even sat down to think about what I am making for this holiday season. I mean, I already have a stockpile of socks done, so that's good. But just in terms of those little extra little bits, I haven't even thought about it. So maybe I'm not the only one who could use a little bit of extra time. So if you usually participate in that kind of Cal make along, or if you think that sounds fun and you want to participate, let me know if you would like me to start that thread now, or if you want to wait till October, like when it usually starts. So yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all I had to talk about this week. Thank you so much for joining me, even though I know this was quite a short episode. I hope you have a lovely weekend filled with lots of crafting. I would love to know if you have any specific crafty plans for the weekend. What are you planning to do? But otherwise, I hope you have a fabulous weekend, and I will talk to you soon.